Howdy folks, welcome back to 50 Nautical Mile Arc. We are going to do a flight today at nighttime, but before I talk about the flight, I briefly want to talk about my joystick settings, and the reason for that is because the past 5 videos I believe you've been watching have been recorded and uploaded out of order. Well, they've been recorded but uploaded out of order, and I've been talking about my joystick settings a lot in those videos, but it's completely obsolete information. So I wanted to start this video by talking about my control sensitivity, and it looks like this for right now. And I mentioned this briefly in the Twin Otter version 2 video, but that's been like 2 weeks ago now, so I'm going to talk about it again briefly. So the augmentation, when you use payware aircraft, especially higher end aircraft, you want to be at 0 for all 3, and that's because the designers typically design the aircraft with 0 augmentation in mind. And by cranking these up, you could actually limit the aircraft, such as elevator control, for example, is a big deal in the forums. People complain about not being able to land smoothly. And it's often because they have pitch cranked way up, and then they lose elevator control and they can't land. So keep that in mind if you're using payware aircraft, especially higher end stuff. Augmentation to 0, you pretty much usually want to do anyway. Now this control response, if anybody tells you, oh, you should have these settings, then they don't know what they're talking about. And the reason why is because control response depends on your hardware, your computer, how you use your hardware, and the mood you're in, and the mood that the sim is in, and the mood that your hardware is in. So by having 100% for mine, with the max fine grain control near the center, that's kind of like a bigger dead zone, which means during the center of control, or the center of your controller, your input device, you have more control. So if we have these at 0, for example, and my yoke like to be grabby and twitchy in the center, and it doesn't always recenter itself. So if I have this at 0, every little bump I make, or even just like tightening my hand, will throw the airplane out of control. So for me, this is just for me, having the control at 100 with the hardware that I have in the condition that it's in, with its like physical springs and lubrication or whatever's going on inside there, the way it's set for me right now, the way it's working right now, I've been using it at 100 and I've been having pretty good results. So your mileage will vary greatly, like I said, depending on you, your hardware, and the mood that your hardware is in that day, as well as the sim and the computer. So anybody who says you should have these settings, no, that's not how this works. This is up to you, and you might even change this based on aircraft. You might also change this based on aircraft, but that's kind of dangerous. But this left column, you might change that a lot. Like if you have a brand new yoke, it's going to act differently than it would in 3 months from now, and you might need to change these things. So just keep that in mind. But these are my settings right now, and you can save profiles where all that can be saved per aircraft, as well as these button controls. So let's say your jets you have set up for one way, and your sensitivity for one way, and then your Cessna and your Pipers you have a different way. You can set up those profiles and save them. So I just want to talk about that very briefly, because I've been talking about that a lot in the past 3 or 4 videos, and those videos, like I said, were done and uploaded out of order. So everything I said in those videos, except for the Twin Otter video, other than that, that stuff's obsolete. So I just wanted to clear that up right now before the comments start rolling in and say, you change your settings every video. Yes, because back then when I recorded those videos a couple months ago, I was changing my settings. But, whoa, my Maine Coon just knocked over stuff on a bookshelf. Oh my goodness, he's climbing a bookshelf. This thing is a monkey. Anyway, back to Flight Simulator. So that's why I wanted to talk about that, because going forward now, you're watching this video closer to when I actually made it, and those are my settings, and it's been talked about a lot on the forums, and that's my take on it. Of course, that's just my take on it. You don't have to agree with me. You can disagree all you want, or you can agree, or you can take part of it or leave it. So that's that. Moving on to the flight. We are in Key West, and we're going to fly back to Miami. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, we flew from Miami executive to Key West. We took a parent and 2 children. We're going to fly back now. They've had a nice long vacation. They met up with a friend, so now there's going to be a parent and 3 children flying back. And I say that because that's how we're going to set up our weight and balance. And it's a late flight. It's almost midnight in real life. It's midnight in the sim. And real world weather turned on. We'll have another crosswind landing like we did when we had our crosswind landing here. But I wanted to do a night flight because there's a few switches I didn't talk about in the last video with this. As detailed as they were, I never needed to talk about the night lighting. And I wanted to do that because people are misunderstanding what some of the lights do. So I want to bring that up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our people in. Let's hop inside to do that. And we're going to have an adult there and 3 children and all their luggage and a lot of fuel to get us back. Not quite that much fuel. We'll go about there. So that's what we're going to do first. And then we're going to come back outside, which you can't see, but we'll turn our chocks off, even though you can't see them. But you can't start your engines with chocks on. They just won't start. So let's hop back inside and let's reset all my stuff because my yoke does funny things for some reason. Make sure the parking brake is set, and it is. And then we are going to close our door, which is right there. There you go. And we'll mess with the shades in a minute. Ooh, I like how the sound got a lot quieter from the GPU when the door closed. All right, we're going to come over here now. We are going to do our oxygen and make sure this is set to normal. And now we're going to play with our night lighting. So your lights are over here for night. This is your panel lighting. It just says night and day. And then you can have your dimmer switch here. You have a footwell, which turns on, a dome light, which turns on up above, and then your cabin override. That is not overhead, it's override. And we'll actually mess with this later at the end of the runway, but what it does is it makes everything dark. Now there's a delay in the sim of things getting dark. But this is overriding the cabin lights back here. If we were to pop back here, see how it's dark now. And then if I turn it on, that way, the whole point of this thing is so you don't have to go through here and individually turn your lights off. Because at the end of the runway, when you're getting ready to take off, you want to dim the lights and raise the shades. So if there's an accident in the middle of the night, or in the dark, and they take off, if there's an accident, your eyes are adjusted and you can get to safety without having to adjust your lights from your eyes from a bright lit cabin to the dark outside. So instead of turning off all the lights one by one, you just click override, everything goes dark, which is simulated strange, and you'll see in a moment, but it does work eventually. And then when you're up in the air and you're cruising, you turn the lights back on, just like in real life. You may never even notice that's what's happening, but that is what's happening. So that's what these night light switches are for. It's not complicated, it's just there's a lot of questions about them on the forum. So that's all it is. Your day-night switch for the panel, footwell, dome, which will turn off. We don't really need those right now. And then your override, not overhead, override light, which we will see in practice very soon. So what is next? We already did our oxygen and our air source over here. So bus ties is next. And then we're going to test our annunciators. And then we'll test our ELT. You turn it on for a second and then you reset. And those instructions are actually written right on there. Test for 1 second, then select to arm. Now that ELT is if you crash too hard, basically. If you hit the ground at 4 Gs or harder, that'll sound. So hopefully we never hear that ever. All right, external lighting now. Interior light, exterior light. We will get our strobe and our nav light turned on. And make sure gear is locked down, which it is. Fuel quantity is up here, and we got plenty of fuel for this flight. Our barometer is, what is it going to be if we click here and then we click on details? 3015. Now, I learned something from the designer of this. I told you in the previous video that you can click on this and enter your stuff. But I was told something else. You can scroll wheel over all of these fields, all of them, and it'll change. You can scroll wheel everything and it'll change your parameters, I guess. Why am I losing words? Because it's midnight. It's midnight on a Saturday night, so, or Sunday now. The scroll wheel, you can change it. I'm going to double check that. 3015, yes. So there you go. And we will be scroll wheeling. It is very awesome. I'm so glad I was told that, because that's not in the instructions. The documentation for the aircraft says click. It says with this update, you can now click and enter. It doesn't say anything about scroll wheel. So that was fun to find out. All right, now we are going to do our flight plan. In this aircraft, it is okay. Well, in the simulated aircraft, it is okay to do your avionics and flight plan before you start your engines. So we are going to do our flight plan. Very simple. We are just going to click flight plan, and we're going to go to menu, go to the catalog. We're going to take our original plan and invert it. There you go. This also means we do not want this waypoint because that's the wrong way. So remove waypoint, and there we go. Now, because it's only like a 20-minute flight, we are going to do our approach now instead of once we're in the air, because we don't have a co-pilot to help us. So we'll click on our destination, load arrival. I want to do an ILS this time because the other two flights we've done are nav. So let's do ILS. However, I apologize profusely that I did not, well, I looked at the arrival charts, but I didn't check what arrival we want. So this is going to be a mess. I'm just going to pick stuff, and we are going to clear this out. So what we're going to do to actually see what we want, because we don't want X, we don't want those transitions. It's going to send us, if we go over here, it's going to send us to like, it's not even on here, like Timbuktu and back. So let's actually go up here. Yeah, U.S. South, yeah, no, the Bahamas. Okay, so it's going to send us to the Bahamas, and then it's going to come back. See, I didn't choose the right approach for my star because I didn't. So let's clean this up. So let's go to, where are we going? Let's go to chart. Nope, I did that wrong because I needed to select a different one. Let's go here, and let's go to our destination, which is way down here. And then we can get info, and then we can do our charts. There we go, and let's do our approach. And let's do ILS. Okay, so we want something that's going to get us to either Leyden or Exio, whatever. Either Leyden or Exio. So let's go back now to our flight plan, and let's clean this thing. Okay, there's Exacto and there's Leyden. So let's just actually, well, we could do two things. We can just click direct. Look at this. It goes to Leyden in the back again. Oh dear. Let's just click here and go direct. Boom. There. This means aircraft. So we just skipped all this. It means our current aircraft position. Direct to whatever that says. And then Leyden. And then there. And then if we want to go back to our charts here. Info. We can see what our altitude is going to be. Altitude. It keeps defaulting to that one. And then we just need to know we need to be at 1500 at Leyden. And there you go. That's it for now, for our purposes. Of course, there's way more information on here. I already have nav tuned in because I did a practice flight 108.7, 108.7. And we're actually not going to need that. Our GPS will actually step us down, which we're going to have a discussion about that once we're in the air. Don't worry about that. Just keep that in the back of your head. We're going to talk about the GPS doing an approach. Or SkyView doing an approach, stepping us down. There'll be plenty of conversation about that. Let's just check weather. 100 degrees, 15 knots, runway 9, or 27 is all we get. So we'll take off runway 9, because 90 is as close to 100 as we can get. We'll have a low crosswind takeoff, but not a big deal. That's our flight plan. Get it ready to go so we can calculate stuff. Otherwise, what else do we need to do? We need to come back over here and put this on SkyView. Let's put this on Loc 1. We're not going to need it. I'll tell you why we're not going to need it. I'm just going to put that on there in a minute anyway for our discussion. What else am I doing? SkyView got that. Make sure a map has weather and TCAS, and it does. Now we're ready to start the engine. So all we do is we push the right preset, and we do start battery. And then we come up here, and we start the right engine. And why is that continue? Weird. Come on, scroll wheel. There we go. Let's let that thing start. It takes a second for the sound to catch up. And there we go. I don't know what was going on in the sim, but I had to restart the engine like 3 times, and it finally started. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll let it simmer down here a moment, and then we'll start the other engine. There we go. Looks good. Let's start the other one. There we go. Scroll wheel the right way helps. Alright, that's good enough for me. Check the gauges, everything is good. Left and right generator. There's the left. There's the right, and then we'll disconnect GPU. So if we come out here, which we can't really see very well, we can disconnect the GPU like so. And this is the Peace livery. Versus Love and Peace on it. I love this livery. It's kind of obnoxious, but it's super cool. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's hop back inside. Now we have to set our trim, which I don't know any other way to set the trim on this other than using my yoke. So I'm just watching this arrow get slowly and slowly closer to the green. Takes a very long time, but I'm not editing the video because I want you to see how long this takes, because I can't find any other way in the aircraft to do this. There we go. Close enough. Alright, what is next after setting the trim? Flaps to take off. No big deal there. Get our anti-ice turned on. And we would do our window defog if we need to. But it's really loud in my ears, so I only turn it on if we need to. Well, let's get the taxi lights going here. And get our autopilot set up. So, autopilot, pretty simple. We're going to have a IAS of 167. Actually, I have to type in 167 because that only goes by fives. I found a published document that says 167 is your best. That's what I found. We're going to go up to 13,000 feet, and then we'll have to come down right away, but we'll set that there. Again, I could have scroll wheeled that if I wanted to. And that's pretty much it. So we are going to get, where's my autopilot button? There's my autopilot button. So we'll do an alt change, nav, and that's it. Yeah, then we'll gauge autopilot, and bam, 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 and I'll kick in. I'll double check it. Because during my test flight, it decided to climb us to 7 feet. It kept us at 7 feet. So we'll see if this goes right. So alt change is green, because that's going to change to the blue. That's yellow, which means it's waiting. And nav will be sky view. And yeah, our alt is set, our IS is set. Piece of cake. We just have to do IES once we're in the air. Actually, I can do IES right now, I think. Autopilot. It's a pitch setting. IES. There it is. It's already done. Boom. IES. There, see? And that's why it was blue, because that's what it's going to track. So, piece of cake. Let's keep that there, though, just in case. Let's not change that yet. Alrighty. What is next? Oh, we're going to taxi out to the runway. So, let's see. All we're doing, we're on the commercial ramp. We're just going to head out to runway 9. So which way are we facing? I just picked a ramp at random. We're facing... Okay, so we're actually going to head out that way. Follow those blue dots. Turn around. Take off runway 9. I guess we could do this together for a little bit. It's not going to be a very exciting taxi, but let's get going here. Oh, good. That didn't take so much to get going this time. Sometimes it takes a lot of juice to get this thing rolling. Sometimes it doesn't. Come on. Here we go. There we go. Alright. After a long taxi, we are going to pull up here and stop at the stop line. And there's a few things we need to do before we pull out into the runway. So we're just going to stop right here. Just like this, and set the parking brake, and here we go. Checklist before we take off. We need to confirm our flaps. Yes, they're set to take off. Landing lights can come. Whoop, I just bumped something. Landing lights come on. Taxi lights can come off. Override switch on. Now, it should get really dark in here, but there's some weird long delay in the simulator, and this happens in like 6 of the aircraft I fly, where you turn the lights off, it doesn't actually get dark. So eventually, like either going down the runway or shortly after takeoff, it'll get dark in here, I promise. And that's what that override light is for. So that also means we have to come back here and put all the shades up too. That's also a safety feature. So we go shades, we'll go all up, and they should rise, and they do, just like all the ones on this side that I had closed, they're all up now. There we go. Alright, next thing that we need to do then is pull out onto the runway and sync our heading bug, just in case I screw up autopilot. It won't take us to who knows where. But we got to get going here first. A little bit of throttle needed to get rolling. I pull it out onto the runway, which is one of the more exciting parts of a simulator. I just wish I could see more around the corner, but oh, yep, I missed it because I couldn't see it. Let's line up somewhat. See, there it got dark. See, I didn't touch anything. You saw for yourself. I didn't touch anything. It just finally got dark. All right, we're going to sync our heading bug. And in the middle, there we go. I'm going to confirm autopilot, AIS, altitude, everything. Sky view is set. All right, so there we go. See, it got dark. It just took like 45 seconds to catch up. I don't quite understand what's going on, but it does that in a lot of aircraft, not just this one. That's just what the simulator is doing. So anyway, here we go. Release the parking brake and engage throttles, and we will go beyond 100% just until takeoff. Then we'll reduce everything so it's not in the red. We will have a little bit of wind from the right. There we go. Everything's in the red. That is okay. Takeoff speed I have written down is what? 91 knots. I had to let go of my yoke, sorry. And there's 91. We'll rotate. Pull back gently. There we go. Gear, flaps. Bring back those throttles. Get them out of the red. Fly runway heading for a little bit here. When we get to 167 on the speed, I will engage autopilot. But it's trimmed, so I'm actually not even touching my yoke right now. I'm just going to let it ride it out until we get our speed, and then I'll engage autopilot at 167. And we're almost there. We're on 157 right now. And there's 161. We'll trim down just a hair. 65, 66, and engage autopilot. And we're going to turn left. And there you go. We are off. So there you go. So now you get to see what the cockpit looks like all lit up. It looks very nice. We didn't get to see this last time. And then if we come back here, the cabin is all dark. So once we get to a safe altitude, we will turn on the lights so that people can see. The kids can read their books, right? Because their batteries are dead in their iPads, so they're going to read books on the way if they're not sleeping already. But otherwise, yeah, that's about it. So not much to talk about at 10,000 feet. Well, weather's going to update. There we go, weather updated for us. Not much to talk about, but I'm not gonna cut in the sightseeing quite yet. There's a few things we're gonna do here once we get some altitude. But let's have a look outside before we lose sight of everything. There we go. There's Key West off in the distance. Very nice. And then right where those lights end is the ocean, or the Gulf. Gulf of Mexico. I guess you'd call it the ocean too. Anyway, it's an overcast day. Hope you can kind of see the highway going down there. Man, this weather's still trying to update. Very cool. Can't really see the livery or anything though. Anyway, let's hop back inside. And let's just make sure all our systems are managed. We're climbing at the rate we want. Gears up, flaps are in. Now sky view is on. Nav. Everything is good. Half an hour it says until we have to catch the glide slope. But that'll come down very quickly because, oh shoot, I did forget one thing, doggone it. I forgot to start our timer. Let's start that now. Bummer. That's what happens when I think I have my checklist memorized. You never do that. You always have to look at your checklist. Even if you have it memorized, you have to look at it. Oh well, anyway. We'll just add like a minute and a half to that, I guess. But there we go. Nice and dark cockpit. I think we're safe now to turn on some lights. So what we can do now is let go the overhead. So now it's all lit up back here. But that's a little bit bright. So let's come to our lights and let's give it like 2. Let's go like that. Let's keep the front ones off because that's over the pilots. So there we go. Now what do we look like? There we go. A lot dimmer. A lot more reasonable. Everybody's having fun. Now if you go outside and you scroll in, you will see the people. If you go just right. Where are you? I know you're in there. Yep, do you see some hands there? Yeah, there's the adult. There's little kids. That's actually kind of creepy. That's really creepy. But there they are. Oh yeah, they're looking out the window. You guys should take a nap. Alrighty, where are we at? 9,000 feet. Let's see. At 10,000 we'll turn off landing lights, but we aren't going to click standard on the barometer because we're not going to hit 18. So let's wait till 10,000. We'll turn off those lights. And there we go, 10,000. Turn off your landing lights. Alright, so there we are. we're just going to sit and ride this out. For top of descent, I'll have to calculate it based on my time remaining, and our descent rate, and our speed, because we want to be at 1500 at Leyden, right? Let's just double check that, because we can. Waypoint info, charts, and approaches, and it keeps going to that one. And as I said before, 1500 at Leyden. So there we go. I'm going to calculate that and get some sightseeing set up for you all. And I'll catch you at top of descent. Alright, it's time to come down already, even though we just got started, because we have 11 minutes to our waypoint. We gotta be down at 1500, so we need to come down quickly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this to 1500, like so. Enter that, and then we will. Where's my autopilot one? There we go. We'll do Alt change, but we need to bring throttles back because it will not descend if your throttles are too high. It knows. So if you're going to overspeed, it won't let you actually descend. So let's get our descent rate in here. Let's just go nose down. Let's do about 1200 feet per minute to start with. And I want to keep our speed up until we hit 10,000 feet. Then we got to watch that 250 speed limit. So we're 11 minutes out. We need to come down to 1,500. So that's about just shy of 12,000 feet we have to come down. So it's about 1,100 feet per minute. So we'll do 1,200 feet per minute until we dial it in, and then I'll adjust our descent rate simply by going nose up, nose down on the buttons here, or you can go to the autopilot and mouse wheel nose up, nose down there. Either way. But all I had to do was hit Alt change, and boom, it's going to dial in the next altitude, and you know it's dialed in because it's blue. And we're using 1,200 feet per minute because it's blue. On the way up, we used IAS, and that was blue, but now it's white because they're not using it. So that's how that works. We're at 12.5. I better keep our speed down a little bit, though, because we can't be above 250 at 10,000 feet. So there you go. So descent checklist already. Look at this. 6 minutes in, and we're already top of descent. What am I doing here? There's no... Well, I'll say there's no barometer, but there is a barometer. We got to get our altimeter at the destination airport. I was just thinking of the 18,000 foot thing. The airport should be in here. It is already. What are we looking at? 3020 on the barometer. So we can just scroll, mouse wheel this up to 3020. There we go. And we're at 11.8, so we better start slowing down a little bit so we don't break through that speed limit. We're at 10. Okay, so we're at 10 minutes out, and we got to come down 10,000 feet. So let's put nose up 1,000 feet per minute. It should also get us closer to 250. So all I'm going to do now is adjust the throttles to be as close as 250 as we can without exceeding it. And that is all there is to top of descent. That's it. You can zoom in here a little bit and see this. So what I was talking about with the approach, let's see, let's set up a nice view here. Should we go outside? Is that too noisy? Yeah, there's nothing to see anyway. Plus we're over water. Remember, we're nowhere near land. We go right over the water for this. That's actually kind of cool. So what I was going to say about this approach thing is people were making comments of how I can have sky view coupled here, but still use approach on the autopilot and follow the glide slope. And the designer stepped in and said this is a correct way to do it, as is using localizer. So what I've been doing is I always have the localizer, or the ILS, yeah, that's localizer, in nav 1. Okay, and if SkyView doesn't intercept it, then I will be able to quickly click on this to loc 1 and then intercept it that way. Sorry, I just bumped my microphone. Alright, so that's how that works. Oh, we gotta come down one more knot. We're at 251. Oh, get down below 250. We're gonna get down below 250 before 10,000 feet. There we go. Excellent. Landing lights can come on now as well. So anyway, so that's how I've been doing this. I always have the localizer put in nav over here. That way I can quickly click this to get to loc 1 if it doesn't intercept it using SkyView. So that's how I've been doing it. I've only done it 3 times with this aircraft because it's still pretty new, and I've succeeded all 3 times. So that's just how it works for me, I guess. Ooh, those are some nice clouds. But I just want to talk about that because it has come up on the forums and in my own comment section. So there you have it. There's my story. I am going to stick to it. So anyway, I'm just going to keep managing my speed, make sure you don't exceed the speed limit, and we will kind of see Miami come into view. We're coming from the west, so the draw distance on the lighting isn't that far either. So as we get closer, oh boy, there's some winds going on here. As we get closer, you'll see some lights come in of Miami, but it's not going to be this magnificent metropolitan area. But look for that. One more thing I did want to check. So I want to check weather. I'm just curious. Okay, it's still 100. Oh, less wind. Still 100 degrees. It'll probably be that way at the airport as well. So we'll have a little bit of crosswind from the right. Just a little. Landing Key West was my first perfect crosswind landing. I can't guarantee this will be a perfect crosswind landing. I'll try my best when we get there. But anyway, what do we got? 8 minutes and whatever, 7,000 feet to come down. I will manage my speed and my descent, and I'll catch you in a couple minutes when there's something to talk about. Alright, we just about broke through the cloud layer. We're still at 6,000 feet though, but I'm going to come down now and turn on the override for the cabin. That'll kill all the lights in back. See how it got dark? Just a quick flick of the switch. You don't have to manage the lights individually, just like you would in real life. And landing lights are already on. Altimeter is already set. Shades are already up. So now it's just a matter of keeping an eye on our descent rate and adjusting it. As you can see, I've tweaked it a little bit. We're at 800 feet per minute now instead of 1,000 because we're 6 minutes out and we only have 4,000 feet to go. So I'm actually going to bring this to 600 feet per minute and keep an eye on our speed. I'm going to keep my speed up, and then once we are ready to intercept, we're going to drop to 200 knots, get first set of flaps, second set of flaps at 140, gear down, yaw damper and autopilot come off during the approach, although we will use the approach button. Final approach, 99 knots, land between 76 and 99 depending on weight. So that's a quick rundown of our descent. That's how it's going to go. First things first though, I should just sit here and enjoy the lights starting to get drawn in from Miami. So Miami's over here. It just isn't drawn in. There's your airport. But it just isn't drawing them in yet. Let's check the weather one more time, see if it's updated. I have my update set to every 30 minutes, and it has been 30 minutes. Okay, a little faster now. Still 100 knots, or 100 degrees, so we'll still have a crosswind landing, but closest we can get is runway 9 right, because we can only do 9 or 27 at this airport. So there you go, 5 minutes now, and we only have to come down, well, less than 4,000 Well, there we go. Now we're better. 4 minutes out, just shy of 4,000 feet. So we do want to be a little more aggressive on our descent. And keep an eye on that speed. Starting to turn us a little bit. We're a little cockeyed because of the wind. And there we go over here. That's what we're looking at. And through the magic of editing, I'll catch you when we're about ready to intercept that glide slope. Alright, we're just about ready to catch this localizer. There's the airport over there outside on the side of your screen with the radio antenna in the middle. And we are at 2,000 feet. We want to be at 1,500. We can actually probably not quite descend that quickly. But we are about ready to make our turn. And our pink line on our sky view should go. We're already picking up the glide slopes there. Oh, there's some more Miami getting drawn in as we get closer. We're already picking up the glide slope. We gotta pick up the localizer first. And then we'll hit approach. There we go. There's localizer picked up. And the glide slope picked up. Now if that didn't work, I would switch this to loc 1. But it's working. So we're gonna do sky view still. We'll let it straighten out and then we'll hit approach on autopilot. And there's our runway right there in front of us. Right in the middle of the screen as it should be. And we're at 1520. And we'll be at 1,500 by our waypoint. So excellent. Let's hit approach now. And that should take care of everything. So we're going to slowly slow this thing down. We're going to have a few looks outside first, actually, while we can. There's that window. That looks nice. Let's screenshot that. Let's look at this side. Not much to look out there. Let's look outside quickly. See if Miami's drawn in enough to get a screenshot. That's good enough. Let's take a oh, there more came in. Good. Let's take a screenshot of that. I think that's as good as it's going to get for us from where we actually are. Alrighty, let's go. Let's get down below 200 so we can get geared out and flaps out. Actually, we can go geared now. And then there's some drag. So there's 201 flaps. First set of flaps. Alright. Lights are off. Gears down, flaps are coming down. Next set of flaps at 140. We'll keep our speed up a little bit though. A final approach at 99. Landing speed 76 to 99. And we have a slight crosswind from the right. Not a whole lot though. Doesn't seem to be much to be troublesome. Yeah, that's not much at all. Actually, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is, but not much. So I'm not really going to worry too much about a crosswind landing. Had I wanted to do a crosswind landing, we would have right wing down, left rudder, right main first, and a firm but not hard touchdown. Alright, we're at 129 because I'm not paying any attention to what I'm doing. Let's get second set of flaps down. Let's bring it down to 99 knots now for a final approach. Oh, there's more Miami getting drawn in there. Every time it draws it in, I'm trying to grab a screenshot. Oh, see, there we go. Glide slope has been captured, and autopilot's bring this down, and that is with sky view enabled right here. Okay, so just something I wanted to mention because it has been coming up. Alright, let's bring our throttles back a little bit. I want to get down to 99. Let's try to do one good screenshot of Miami now that more got drawn in. Let's just go something like that. And then something like that for the people who know the area. This is Miami Executive Airport, by the way. Alright, here we go. Excellent. Gears down, flaps are down. Everything is the way it should be. Let's bring this down to 99 knots. We're a little fast for a final approach. But we will land manually, of course. This will not auto land. If you let it get too close to the ground, it does veer off. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so I'm just going to let autopilot do its job. Just because I can. I can land this plane manually. We landed completely manually into Key West, but I'm just enjoying the autopilot right now. And the nice light winds. Alright, here we go, bringing it down to 104. Get down to about 99 and we'll keep it there. And then we'll just cross the threshold at 99, bring throttles back, let it hover. And should be a pretty easy landing. Shouldn't be too bad. Well, we're getting a little slow. Let's bring that back up. Excellent. Very beautiful. Anything we can look at out here while we have autopilot going for us? Not bad, not bad. There we go, 92. A little slow yet. Let's keep that at 99. Oh yeah, there's the ground right there. It's kind of hard to tell. Alright, there we go, 500. Good. Keep speed up though. Alright, kill autopilot. Let's bring this in. Should be trimmed, ready to go. Oh, we're going to the right a little bit, even though the winds are coming from the right. That's interesting. Alright. A little touchy, but that's okay. I'm going to go sterile so I can have a somewhat decent landing, and I will talk to you on the ground. And just like that. Smooth as possible. Of course, it's really nice when you don't have a big wind, but that was technically a crosswind, even though it's only like 10 knots. Awesome. Alright, I'm just letting this roll out so we can get to the next taxiway. Well, here. Is that a taxiway? Sure looks like it. Yep. Excellent. Very cool. Very, very happy with that landing. Very happy with the flight in general. Let's pull off here and do what we need to do since we have a co-pilot to help us. But bienvenidos a Miami. Welcome to Miami. Alright, let's just stop here. Just like this. Set the parking brake, come down here, stop the clock. We're going to add a little bit since they stopped it late. So about a 26-minute flight. Let's get the taxi lights on. Landing lights can come off. Override can come off now as well. So we can come back here and they can have full lighting so they can get those kids woken up and get their stuff together. We need to turn those on. Now let's keep that stuff off. Alright, here we go. After landing, stop timer, flaps up. Taxi lights on, landing lights off, override switch off. There we go. Now all we're going to do is look at our diagram here, which I probably should have, whoops, no, information, there you go. Alright, where are we? We landed 9 right, so let's find E or Echo 2 or Echo 3. Let's see, hangars, customs border, no, we don't need to worry about that. What's over here? That's something else. Alright, let's just do Echo 2 or Echo 3 to get to hotel. And let's just go back here to one of these hangars. So let's keep this up like this. So we're looking for Echo 2 or Echo 3. I don't know where we pulled off of because I'm too far. What does that say? What does that say? Hotel 3. Oh. Okay. Let's turn left. This must be Delta. Let's turn left here and then we'll head back to Charlie 2. There we go. Alright, actually that must be Delta there. No, that's Echo. This must be Delta. I would think. Yep, Delta. Then what do we want? Charlie 2, I think. Charlie 2. Let's find Charlie 2. If you miss it, we'll go to the next Charlie, but Is Charlie 2 right here? Yeah, just like it should be. Good, so whoever modeled this thing, it matches the chart I got from AirNav. So we'll just come right over here and park at one of these hangars. Alright, we'll just sneak up here and turn left. And then the kids can be picked up. We got those 3 kids with us. And then the brave adult. I've had a few moments like that as a parent, where I've done things looking back. I thought it must have been crazy. And of course, other parents at the time thought I was crazy, but I went for it anyway. So now the lights turned on. See, there's like a big delay in how the lights react. But it's not this aircraft, it's the sim, because that happens in a lot of aircraft. Alright, so what are we going to do now? Shutdown checklist. Parking brake is set. Throttles need to be idle for 1 minute. So while we're waiting for that, we'll turn off our anti-ice. And we'll turn off our window defog, which I never turned on because it's too loud. Air source can come off now. There we go. That can come off now. That can come off now. And how do I turn off these things? I never actually tried to turn these off before. I don't know. I'll have to figure out later. Is there a power button somewhere? That's not power. Well, that's comm. Of course it's comm. Huh, not sure. It's this power. Nope, that's pop out. I don't know. I'm not going to waste your time. But anyway, I would like to turn those off if I could. Engines have been idle now for a minute, so let's turn those off. GPU connect. Let's hop out here and connect our GPU. Like so. And hop back inside. Whoops, let's hide you. And start battery can come off. External lights can all come off. There we go. Left and right generators can come off. Bus ties can come off. System battery and everything should stay on because we have GPU. Let's turn off our dash lighting as well. Let's turn on our footwell and dome lighting though. Let's come back here. Yeah, there we go. Open up the door from the inside. Come outside. Like so. I've left our lights on. Whoops. Get the chocks. Turn off these lights. Which lights did I miss? Oh, it's that mount. There we go. Okay. Alright, and we then should be all set to get out of this airplane. Welcome once again to Miami Executive. Hope you enjoyed the flight. I love this little thing. I don't fly mini modern anything. Well, it's very modern, but it's the only modern thing I fly. Everything else is kind of old school, but I enjoy it from time to time. And hope you enjoyed the flight with me. Hope you enjoy all the side banter as well. If you found me by accident, please subscribe, please like, please share with your friends. If you're a big subscriber, thank you for your continuing support. I want to welcome everybody from the Facebook groups that have been coming to my channel and encouraging me and supporting me to do what I do. I greatly appreciate it. And let's get these kids out of here. And with that being said, I'm going to enjoy the scenery for a little bit. And I'll catch you on the next one.